Ladies and gentlemen, DAZNers, welcome back, of course, to what I say is the best TV transfer show right now on TV in the whole world. I'm sure. I'm not afraid to pronounce that words because we have the best, the one and only Fabrizio Romano. This is DAZN Transfer by Fabrizio Romano. Hello, Fabrizio. How are you?
Ciao Javi, ciao to our friends of DAZN. I'm very good, thank you, with many news as always, so ready to enter into it.
We were talking about it. As you say, sometimes I've been told we have breaking news, but let's start with something we know, which is Granit Xhaka to Sunderland, but we need the details. Fabrizio.
Yeah, important signing for Sunderland. That's a big move. It was not an easy one because Bayer Leverkusen wanted to keep Granit Xhaka, a really important player in the midfield, but also a leader, a captain like Granit Xhaka is always important in a team. But Sunderland made a really important proposal in the recent hours, 20 million euros package, agreement done club to club with Bayer Leverkusen, agreement done also with the player on a 3-year contract. Xhaka will be tonight ready to start his medical as a new Sunderland player. They have a very ambitious project in Premier League for this season, and so Xhaka is back to Premier League after he joined Bayer Leverkusen from Arsenal a few years ago. Also, one more breaking news just arrived before we started here our live stream is about Nottingham Forest, because Forest for their European season and of course also Premier League, they needed to replace Anthony Elanga, who was sold to Newcastle, and their new winger is going to be Dan Ndoye from Bologna for 42 million euros plus add-ons. A really important signing, a player who did fantastic in Serie A last season. And so they have new winger, Nuno will have Dan Ndoye.
Amazing movement. There you go. 2 times in a row we have breaking news in this TV show in DAZN Transfer by Fabrizio Romano. That's what we like. But we have to keep moving, Fabrizio, because I don't know if Donnarumma will join him on Premier League, because I know there are some interested teams on Donnarumma, but PSG is still there.
Yeah, let's be careful with the Donnarumma situation, because it's a really interesting one, not just for this summer, but also for next summer. What happens is that Donnarumma has 1 year left on his contract, so he's expiring in June 2026, one of the best goalkeepers in the world. With this contract situation, is really attracting for many clubs. We have many rumors on Man City, but I'm told Man City will sign James Trafford from Burnley as new goalkeeper, so nothing is happening with Donnarumma for this summer. Also, no concrete contacts with Chelsea, despite the rumors in the recent days. I think there is a really concrete chance for Donnarumma to stay at Paris Saint-Germain and compete with the new goalkeeper that PSG want to sign, who is Lucas Chevalier from Lille. So there is a possibility for both players to be at PSG and then for Donnarumma eventually to leave as free agent in summer 2026.
Let's put ourselves imaginative, but do you think Chelsea is taking the lead on that list of Premier League clubs that maybe could be interested in Donnarumma?
I don't think so for this summer. For this summer, because they are quite happy with the goalkeeper they have. They wanted to sign Maignan before the Club World Cup, but then they decided to stop everything and to continue with Robert Sanchez and with Philip Jorgensen. So at the moment, the situation is really quiet around Chelsea. Then next summer, free agent, a player like Donnarumma, we have to be careful with many clubs interested.
Let's keep moving, Fabrizio, because right now we are in Premier League. We were talking about Chelsea, and in the last days we've heard that Garnacho could be a new Chelsea player. I don't know if that's even possible right now, because you said the last week Chavis Simmons is on the start again of Chelsea.
Yeah, and both players are on the list, and what I'm hearing and what we can say today here to our friends of DAZN is that Chelsea could sign both players. So there is a really concrete possibility for Chelsea to go for both of them. I know can sound surprising after Liam Delap, after João Pedro, Bino Gittens, William Estevao is coming. So Chelsea signed many players as always, but they want both of them. At the moment the priority is Chavis Simmons, but for Garnacho, Chelsea already made some contact in January. He's a player they like, and so Garnacho, from what I'm hearing, would love to stay in Premier League. He's not accepting approaches from Saudi, approaches from Bayer Leverkusen when there is his former coach Erik ten Hag. He would love to stay in Premier League, and so let's see what happens with Chelsea later in the window. Not now, but he remains one of the players in the list at Chelsea.
Could we expect exits in Chelsea? Because we talked about it last week, and before they buy, I suppose they have to sell, Fabrizio.
Yeah, there will be many exits, for sure. Now we always speak about new signings, but as you were mentioning, Christopher Nkunku is one of the players who could leave. It's a really concrete possibility. Nikico Jackson, there is some movement with Newcastle, with Manchester United, so several clubs interested in Nikico Jackson. Keep an eye also on Raheem Sterling, who is an option for Fulham and has been offered to Napoli. So Chelsea will sell many players. I think it's going to be more than 9, 10, 11 in the next weeks.
Fabrizio, with Nick Pope getting older, one name on the table for Newcastle, Aaron Ramsdale.
Yeah, and there is a negotiation ongoing because the player Newcastle wanted to sign a new goalkeeper was James Trafford. It was quite advanced, but then Manchester City entered into the deal and signed the goalkeeper from Burnley. And so now for Ramsdale, Newcastle are serious. Newcastle made a bid today to Southampton, a loan deal with a buy option, with a really important loan fee. And the negotiation is advancing quite well. The player wants the move, obviously, opportunity to go and play Champions League football. So Ramsdale, Newcastle is a really, really strong and concrete possibility.
There you go. And one of the movements of this week, what I think it's Joao Felix. We were talking about him, maybe a move to Benfica. Finally, will be Al Nassr. And there's some details that I think you could give us more information because, Chrissy, from 30 million to 50 million, how is that going?
Yeah, I try to explain to you, first of all, it's quite sad news for Benfica fans because they wanted Joao Felix back and it was very close, but more than close. They were preparing everything for medical test and contract signing at Benfica, but sometimes the market is like this. Al Nassr entered the deal, offered more than Benfica, to the player and to Chelsea. Cristiano Ronaldo called Joao Felix and so the deal happened. Now Joao is already with the squad. He did the training today, medical test, so we just wait for the official statement. But Al Nassr signed the player on permanent transfer. It's going to be a deal worth 30 million euros immediately, plus add-ons and sell-on clause up to 50 million euros package. So everything is agreed. Joao Felix will try this new chapter in Saudi Arabia.
How important it's been Cristiano's call, Fabrizio?
Well, very important because Joao Felix was really tempted by the opportunity to go back to Benfica. Of course, he still loves the club and the possibility to be back one day is something that Joao always had in his mind. But then when you have an important proposal like the one of Al Nassr, also financially, of course, and then the call of Cristiano Ronaldo, the project now being pushed by Cristiano Ronaldo, who is absolutely present on everything at Al Nassr, well, for Joao Felix was very difficult to say no. So he decided to accept and to have this new opportunity to play together with Cristiano.
We keep moving, 7 movements for Atletico de Madrid, and I think we could experience one more.
Very active, yes, and sometimes also very fast on the market, Atletico Madrid. So congrats to them because they are doing fantastic. And the next one on the market could be Enso, this midfielder from Stuttgart, because there is a negotiation ongoing between the two clubs. He has a release clause for 23 million euros, but I understand that they want to pay less than this. So there is a negotiation on the structure of the deal between Atletico and Stuttgart. The player is very keen on the move. It's a big opportunity for him. He already said yes to Atletico Madrid. And so keep an eye on this one because Atleti have no intention to stop in this transfer window.
Fabrizio, we were talking last week about Luis Diaz, how possible could it be to join Bayern Munich. Finally, he will be joining. How are the details on that? And it will be one of the biggest sales this summer, at least it arrived for Liverpool.
Yeah, it's going to be a really important one for Liverpool because they can make some money, but a fantastic signing for Bayern. They needed a winger and an exciting winger. That was the profile they were looking for, a player who can dribble, who can score goals, provide assists, and Luis Diaz was the priority for them. What I can tell you is that the player will arrive tomorrow for medical test and contract signing. He's traveling right now back to Europe. He was on tour in Asia with Liverpool. Now he's ready to sign a 4-year deal at Bayern. Liverpool will receive 70 million euros plus 5 in add-ons, so 75 million euros package. For Luis Diaz, I can also tell you behind the scenes that Barcelona, before signing Rashford, offered 60 million euros. Speaking to the agents, they were prepared to put that money on the table, but it was impossible to convince Liverpool for that money, and so Barca closed the Rashford deal, and Luis Diaz will go to Bayern.
Do you think, Fabrizio, if Barca just have pushed until the end, maybe the priority would have been for Luis Diaz to join Barca?
Look, I think he was really open with both Barca and Bayern. He just wanted to try something different after many years at Liverpool. So he was really open to both projects, but then Bayern were more convinced, prepared to pay more money to Liverpool to sign him. And so Bayern went really strong for Luis Diaz, and Barcelona are very happy with Marcus Rashford.
That will be one sale for Liverpool, but so many arrivals, and we've built what we call, Fabrizio, the Super Liverpool. That's a new concept, but I think it was more than 300 millions in outcome and just close to 100 million income.
Yeah, an unbelievable squad, because what they're
Yeah.
doing and what we see here on our graphic. We also included Alexander Isak, and we will talk about that in a minute. But if they really complete also the deal, after Florian Wirtz was already an incredible signing, and then obviously Ugo Ekitike, who arrived in the recent days
Yeah.
for 95 million euros, new fullbacks Frimpong and Milos Kerkez. Mamardashvili arrived from Valencia to provide competition to Alisson. So Liverpool really completely changed their squad, and they have no intention to stop, because I think striker and also centre back are the next two positions they want to cover.
As you see, we've put Isak like on doubt because we are not sure yet, and that's the reason I'm gonna push now the here we go-meter, because now's the moment to put Fabrizio on the spot.
Let's go.
Isak, Fabrizio Romano. Now the moment to put percentages to every player, every move we could see, we could not see, we'll see. And the first one is Isak.
Yeah, look, for Alexander Isak, what I tell you in terms of percentage for Liverpool is 60%. Is quite optimistic, but there is still work to do. It's still well 40% to do before saying that Isak is going to be a Liverpool player. But Liverpool have all the intentions to go strong for this deal. Liverpool already made contact with Newcastle 2 weeks ago. Liverpool are speaking with Newcastle because they would be ready to make a record proposal for the Premier League for Alexander Isak. So to break the bank and go for the player is very keen on the move. The player informed Newcastle about his desire to leave. He's not considering Saudi or any other option. There were rumors of Man United, Arsenal. No, only Liverpool. Now depends on Newcastle. If they want to open doors to this exit, Liverpool will be ready to make something historical and sign Alexander Isak.
Fabrizio, any more teams that could be interested on Isak, and maybe could this movement on danger, could put this movement on danger for Liverpool interesting?
No, look, I think in the moment Liverpool are only focused on Isak, and also Newcastle are aware of that. So now is the moment where Newcastle in this domino are trying to find a replacement. That's really important for Newcastle in order to give eventual green light to Alexander Isak. And Isak is waiting. Isak wants to go to Liverpool. Isak is not going to be with Newcastle squad this week in pre-season tour because his full focus is on a dream move to Liverpool.
We just discussed about him. Now it's moment to talk about Chavis Simmons, because we said, okay, Garnacho is on the spot. But Chavis Simmons, we've been talking about him so many days, and now maybe it's the moment, right?
Yeah, it's getting closer, the deal for Chavis Simmons to Chelsea. There is still some work to do between the two clubs on a transfer fee, but the player is very keen on the move. The player wants to go to Chelsea, is attracted by this opportunity, by this project. And now Chelsea and Leipzig are talking. There is a negotiation ongoing, so my percentage for Chavis Simmons is 70% to become a Chelsea player this summer. More optimistic because in this case, on player side is very advanced. On club side, the negotiation has already started, is quite advanced. So they need to find an agreement on the numbers. But the deal is on, and I think Chelsea will be very busy in the next weeks with this one.
But I expected you to be more optimistic, Fabrizio.
I could be more optimistic, but there is still some work to do, and with Leipzig is never easy. But I think this deal will happen, if you want me to be honest. But 70% is good to be safe.
All right, but the 70 is a high one, so okay, we'll take it.
Yeah.
And let's go to Hato. Now I think Chelsea is on the spot, and I think you will give me a higher percentages for him.
Yeah, this one is going to be higher, and it's going to be 80% for Jordan Hato to Chelsea. In this case, because the agreement with the player here is completed. Imagine that the player went to Ajax, this very talented centre-back who can play also as left-back when it's needed, went to Ajax management, went to the coach, John Eitinga, and told them, I want to go to Chelsea. My opportunity is to go to Chelsea, and I want to take this chance. So Hato did his part. He didn't play the recent friendly games because there is this Chelsea deal ongoing. Now the two clubs are negotiating. Chelsea want to spend maximum 40 million euros. Ajax want 50-55. So there is not a big gap. I think in the next days this deal for Hato can be done.
Do you expect any defender? Because we talked about exits, but I suppose there will be defenders that will get out of Chelsea in short term.
Yeah, I will keep an eye on the situation, for example, of DAZN. He's one of the players they are prepared to sell in this summer transfer window. There is interest from Spain, interest from France, also from England. So the moment is still quiet, but I think in the next week this one is going to accelerate. And then in general for Chelsea, selling player at this stage of the window is going to be really, really important. It's something crucial for them also to generate new income. João Felix was really important, but I think they want to do more before putting in new players like Hato and Chavis Simmons.
Fabrizio, the last one, Benjamin Shesco. I suppose this percentage is directly related with Isak one, right?
It is, because for Benjamin Shesco, I give you a double percentage.
Yeah.
A 50% for Newcastle and the 50%, the other 50%, is for Manchester United.
Yeah.
Because the two clubs are in a fight to sign Benjamin Shesco, and I think this is going to be the story of the week and of the next days together with Alexander Isak. As you said, this is directly linked, this is a domino of strikers, and so if Newcastle decided to let Alexander Isak go, is because they want a new frontman, a new top striker, and Benjamin Shesco is the player they want. My understanding is that they already spoke to the agent of the player, they presented the project, they are prepared to pay whatever it takes to get Shesco, to the club, Leipzig, and to the player in terms of contract. But Manchester United are also in the race. Man United made contact in the recent days after discussing Shesco internally, as we said 1 week ago. Now they are working on player side to present their project and to understand if financially they can make it happen. So it's Newcastle versus Man United to sign one of the most talented strikers in Europe.
If finally they are not able to do so, do you see Newcastle maybe going for Nikico Jackson's signing?
It's a possibility, yes. He's one of the names they have in the list, and he's also a name I will keep also for Manchester United. At the moment, it's not a priority for United, to be honest, but we said before how Garnacho is a potential target for Chelsea. So that discussion, Man United-Chelsea, could be one to watch for August in the transfer market, but also the situation of Nikico Jackson and Newcastle could be an interesting one. And another name I can give you for Newcastle is Vissa from Brentford, a player they really want. The player already has an agreement with Newcastle. He wants to go and play Champions League. Brentford want to keep the player after they already sold Brian Mbeumo to Manchester United. So there is a tense situation ongoing there, but I think Newcastle will try to add 2 offensive players before the end of the window.
Okay, we were discussing about Manchester United signings, and could be one or maybe not. I don't know. It is Dibu Martinez.
It
Strong
could be
name.
2 or maybe 3 signings for Manchester United before the end of the window. So the striker, as we said, with Benjamin Shesco in the conversation, the goalkeeper, and for Dibu Martinez, my percentage today is at 35%, so not that optimistic, because United last week went to speak to Aston Villa, asked for a loan, and Villa said, forget about that, we want 35, 40 millions for Dibu Martinez. So there is a very big gap, it's a really complicated story. But Man United want to sign a goalkeeper. One of the players they are monitoring, if they don't go for an experienced options like Dibu Martinez, could be the goalkeeper of Royal Antwerp. So it's going to be one to watch in the next weeks. And then the third signing could be a midfielder, because maybe in the final weeks of the window, if they find the right opportunity, United could also go for a new midfielder.
And any name for the midfield?
Not yet, but stay tuned on DAZN Transfer. Maybe next week we can say more.
Okay, that's a good one, Fabrizio. Because now is your moment to answer. Fabrizio answers. All right, Fabrizio, it's been, I would say, good weeks for Barcelona with signings, renewals, and all that stuff. But the first question that we received, could we expect more movements, knowing that Barcelona is not maybe in the best economic moment, we're going to say?
Look, they're very happy with the market they did so far. So Juan Garcia as new goalkeeper and Marcus Rashford as new winger. So at the moment, Barca are very relaxed. As Laporta said a few days ago, they are not actively working on any other signing. And also, Ronny Bardi, we don't have to underestimate this kid because he started very well, scoring on his debut in a friendly game. So Barca are very happy with the signings they did. Then, if there will be an opportunity, still 1 month to go, more than 1 month to go, so never say never. But at the moment, Barca are very happy with the squad they have. There were some rumors on Denzel Dumfries, but I'm told that Barcelona are very happy with the right backs they have in the squad. For Jules Koundé, the new contract is imminent. This week, the agents of Koundé and Barcelona hope to finalize everything also in terms of formal steps. For Jules Koundé, new contract till 2030 at Barcelona. So the deal is being completed. Koundé will stay. Barca are also very happy with Eric Garcia. So I think the right backs of Barca will be them. And for Dumfries at the moment, the situation has gone quiet. And also in 2 days, the release clause, 25 million euros, will expire.
As you were saying, I was thinking about Christensen.
Yeah, on Christensen, look, it's an interesting situation to follow, I think, till the end of the market, because he has 1 year left on his contract at Barcelona. At the moment, there are not even negotiations to extend the contract. So if a proposal arrives, I think there is a concrete chance for Christensen to leave Barca this summer. But at the moment, what I'm told is that there is still nothing advanced. So I think this is one to watch in August, in case an opportunity arrives. Some Premier League clubs called around May, then nothing happened. Let's see what's going to happen in August, because obviously for Barcelona, to generate some income would be good, also to facilitate future signings.
Okay, Fabrizio, let's stay in La Liga. Let's stay in Sevilla in this case, because we have to talk about Anthony. I think we have the question already, but do you think he's getting, let's say, out of the spot of Betis because Al Nassr is getting on the conversation?
Not yet, you know. I still want to think that this story is open from what I'm told, because it's true that there is an interest from Al Nassr. Al Nassr made some calls over the last 3-4 days to understand the situation of Anthony, but I'm told that the story in the media in the recent days on an official bid from Al Nassr to Manchester United and to Anthony is not something true. So at the moment there is still no bid. Al Nassr are considering several options, but for Anthony at the moment there is nothing agreed with the player and nothing advanced with Man United. So Betis are still there. Obviously financially for Betis to compete with Al Nassr is impossible, not only for Betis, for many clubs in Europe. And so at the moment the situation depends on the player. If the player wants to open doors and wait for Betis, they are still there. Otherwise, the situation will change. But at the moment I can guarantee that nothing is done with Al Nassr and there is still hope for Betis.
So that's the news. We haven't finished yet, because the best for the final, and it is Fabrizio Romano's bomb. Which bomb do we have today?
It's about a goalkeeper, because we mentioned in our show probably the best 2 goalkeepers in the world in this moment. We said about Donnarumma, who is not extending his contract at PSG at the moment, but who is extending the contract is Thibaut Courtois at Real Madrid, because everything is done between Real Madrid and Thibaut Courtois over new contract valid until 2027. The lawyers on both sides started exchanging all the documents, so I think in the next weeks, as soon as Courtois will obviously return with his teammates from holidays and will be ready for the new season, Real Madrid will prepare everything for the announcement, but Courtois stays. Courtois signs a new contract in 2027. He never had any doubt. He has a dream to retire at Real Madrid one day, and now the new contract is ready, with Real Madrid showing total confidence in their fantastic goalkeeper.
So that's all for today, Fabrizio. You've been good. Everything's settled.
Thank you as always, and see you soon here on DAZN Transfer.
Really good. Thank you, Fabrizio. We'll see you next Monday, same place, same time.
As always, thank you and see you here.
Thank you, man. Bye-bye. For today, thanks for being there. The Zoners will be here as well next Monday. I think will be Matt Cannon that will be sitting just right here to let you know every news, the latest, of course, with the best, which is Fabrizio Romano. Bye-bye. See you next week.